Sometimes when I go visit my grandma, I stop by at a convenience store on the way and usually buy like non-alcoholic beer and mochi cakes. But this is not what this video is about. In this video, I want to talk about what I see behind the counter, which is packaged e-cigarettes labeled HHC-P. Or some dried flowers with the same label. And maybe you've also come across these products, but do you know exactly what they are? Where did they come from, what effects do they have, and what are their risks? Well, that's exactly what I would like to address in today's video. So let's take a look at question number 1. Where did it come from? Well, even in 2024, Europe is still behind in legalization of marijuana. As of June 2024, weed is legal in exactly 3 countries, Malta, Luxembourg, and Germany. And no, the Netherlands is not actually on the list, despite being quite well known for its weed. And that's something I might dedicate an entire video to, but let's just say weed is not legal in the Netherlands. But as we've tried over and over again, prohibition doesn't exactly work. You can take a look at what happened in America during its alcohol prohibition or repeatedly during worldwide prohibition of weed. Prohibition leads to the development of black markets, untested product quality, and the development of stronger variants of the product. And it certainly does not stop people from using or wanting these products. Maybe except for heroin. There might be some limits somewhere, but definitely behind weed. But as we no longer live in the 11th century and we do not need to rely solely on nature's gifts for drugs, we can actually use laboratory techniques to create new, fancy, shiny drugs and new substances, which is great. We can use these new molecules to treat various diseases and improve the quality of life. But apart from medicinal drugs, you can also create new drugs. Why not? I mean, it's just developing some new molecules. And what exactly is an advantage of such new substance? Well, in case of drugs, we have a list of banned substances, but this new substance did not exist at the time of writing that list, so it's not on that list, so it's legal. People can legally sell it, buy it, and use it, which is nice-ish, I guess. And the way legislation works, at least in the Czech Republic, they're not flexible enough to respond to these new substances quickly. So there is this period where you can buy the new substance relatively without problems. And one of these new substances is actually HHC, which came to Europe as a legal alternative to THC and weed, which, as we have already explained, is quite limited in Europe. And in case of HHC, the substance is actually semi-synthetic. It occurs naturally in weed, but only in trace amounts, so most of the HHC that is available on the market is actually produced in a lab. And I talk a bit about this process in my introduction to HHC video. I'll leave the video link in the description if you're interested and you can watch it later. But anyway, at the time I recorded that video, Introduction to HHC, HHC was actually still legal in the Czech Republic. Certain countries in Europe already banned HHC, but it became illegal in the Czech Republic in March 2024, and the ban lasts at least until January 2025. And on January 2025, there should be this new legislation of special lists of narcotics and psychotropic substances available to adults in the Czech Republic. But until then, HHC must be removed from stores in Czechia, and as we already explained, this is just a minor obstacle, and creating additional molecules that are not illegal has proven to be relatively easy. And so HHC-P was born. But what exactly is HHC-P? Well, HHC-P, hexahydrocannabiferol, is essentially HHC, but in HHC we have a chain of 5 carbons, and in HHC-P, this chain is longer, it has 7 carbons, and as you can see on this tail of the molecule, HHC-P is a partial agonist of the CB1 receptor, which simply means that it stimulates the receptor upon binding to it. You can imagine a receptor as a tap, and this tap releases water when someone presses it. An agonist is like an adult. It's pretty strong, it pushes the tap, and water flows out. A partial agonist is like a child. They're not really that strong, so when they press the tap, a small amount of water flows out. It's that simple. Like other cannabinoids, HHC-P is nonpolar and lipophilic, which means it dissolves poorly in water and prefers fat. So products with HHC-P need to have some fat base, such as oil or butter. HHC can be created in a lab either from THC or from CBD using some chemical processes, and I haven't found manufacturers directly documenting how they obtain their HHC-P, but I would expect that a manufacturer is trying to comply at least a little bit with law, and they would produce HHC-P from CBD, which is legal in most of Europe. So how can you get this new drug? HHC-P, since it's legal, can be relatively easily obtained from online shops or offline stores, and the range of products that you can buy is actually quite diverse. You can buy flowers, something that's named hashish, cartridges and vape pens, and of course a variety of sweets such as gummy bears or brownies. HHC-P has similar effects as other cannabimimetics such as euphoria, stress relief, relaxation, increased appetite, and pain relief. And you know what? Having positive effects is great, but we also need to talk about the risks. Currently, there are no studies done on the effect of HHC-P on humans, and the problem with these new semi-synthetic cannabinoids is that we don't actually have a long history of use, and we lack the experience with how chronic use can affect users long term. Another issue with HHC-P is that it's significantly stronger than HHC, which increases the risk of developing negative side effects. And in terms of relatively harmless short-term risks, you have what you would expect from cannabimimetics, which would be fatigue, red eyes, dry mouth, digestive issues, sleep problems during use and after cessation, and low mood when you quit. For the more serious side effects, there's this potential of developing a psychotic episode and paranoia. And after use, a person might feel dizzy and their heartbeat might be faster, which can cause stress. And regarding the manufacturing process, HHC-P is created in a lab, and once again the risk lies in insufficient quality control of the product and the possibility of contamination from laboratory processes where catalysts of chemical reactions, such as heavy metals, which can end up in the product and are definitely something you do not want to smoke. And you might be wondering if you can use HHC-P and pass a drug test. I have encountered cases where people were using HHC in false hope that it would not show up on a drug test. And this is not a good idea. According to current research, it appears that whether your test will be positive or negative after consuming HHC is kind of unclear. Sometimes the presence of metabolites is detected by the test, sometimes it's not. And this is laboratory conditions, so in real life, you gamble way much more. Plus, it's not only heavy metals that can contaminate these products, it's also THC, and THC will trigger your drug test. So if you need a negative drug test for anything, stay away from HHC-P and HHC. Regarding HHC-P's legal status, HHC-P has faced the same fate as other HHC products in many countries and has been banned. This includes countries such as Japan, France, and Slovakia. In Czechia, at the time of writing this script, it is legal, but in 3 days, this will pass. From July 1st, 2024, HHC-P will join its banned cannabinoid friends. But I wouldn't expect this to be the end of semi-synthetic cannabinoids in stores, and I would expect new analogs to appear quite soon. In summary, currently there are no studies done on the effects of HHC-P on humans, and HHC-P is not subject to strict regulation. Providing a product of decent quality without contamination is up to the manufacturer, which brings risks to using HHC-P. But to be fair, using anything has some risks. Plus, from July 1st, it will be illegal. But this whole video poses a different question, right? This cat and mouse game caused by the war of drugs is obviously not a way to go. And as we have seen again and again, prohibition is not the most effective anti-drug strategy. And at this point, we have so much material that I would actually like to cover this topic in a different video. So if you're interested in that, you can follow my channel, and I will sooner or later release a video on prohibition and its effects. But anyways, that's all for today's video, so if you have any questions regarding this topic, don't hesitate to ask in the comments, and if you liked the video, you can let me know by liking it. Have a great day. Bye!